Okay, today I want to talk about a moment in history that, that moment that you hear every Easter when Jesus is on the cross and, he says those words that, it's confused me. And well, excuse me, and it's been more than 50 years that I have not quite understood this verse. Why is Jesus on the cross? Why is he abandoned by God? And it has confused me. Now, to make sense of this, I kind of want to tell you a story, or at least describe to you what I'm feeling about this. I mean, have you ever seen those cop shows? Um, those cop shows that there's always someone, an innocent person that has been grabbed by a perpetrator, this monster, and they've taken them down into a basement, into, I don't know, a bunker or something, and all hope is lost. And just imagine that feeling of being lost, being tied up in a basement, and it's probably not a great, I don't know if it's a great metaphor, but just for a moment, feel what that person would be feeling. And I mean, the only thing they can do is pray. But at that moment, they're probably thinking, why is this happening? God has abandoned me. So now I just want you to hold that thought, or just take that feeling and just think about how Jesus felt on the cross at that one moment. I mean, Jesus, he had been told, and there's quite a few, excuse me, there's quite a few moments in the New Testament where people are saying, where did he get this knowledge? How does he do these miracles? Where does he get this understanding of the scriptures? It's beyond our understanding. Yet there is that one moment that he's on the cross, abandoned, or at least feeling like he's abandoned. And if Jesus feels like that, what hope have we got? But I used to wonder about that verse. Let me just read this verse to you. And let me just grab, and it's that verse, from noon until 3 in the afternoon darkness. From noon until 3 in the afternoon, darkness came over the land. About 3 in the afternoon, Jesus cried out in a loud voice, Eli, Eli, lema sabachthani, which means, my God, why have you forsaken me? Now, there are a couple of things that confused me with this. One was, why was he saying this? And I remember, I don't know if I asked a pastor or if I was listening to a sermon and it kind of came to this point, and it's almost, and I may be thinking about this wrong, but I just remember thinking, or him saying, I don't know why he thinks this, or why did Jesus say this? I don't know. And I'm thinking, well, hang on, he's a pastor. Why doesn't he know? And the other thing is, why did they go to all that trouble to translate this? I mean, this is obviously translated, or this has been translated to English, but from, I think it's Greek. But in the Greek, they've translated it to the Hebrew. So we've got Hebrew Greek, and then we have English. So we've got 3 languages all in this one spot. And why did they do that? They went out of their way to make a point. Now, it's interesting because one thing I found is that going back in Jesus' day, they didn't have the numbers like saying Matthew 27:30. They wouldn't do that. They would have sections, and the first line of that section would be what they would say. So in this, not only was Jesus feeling abandoned at this point, he was also making a point and pointing people to something else. And the reason why it's in Hebrew and why they made sure that people knew it was in Hebrew was because he was stating a verse or a psalm that he wanted people to listen to. And that psalm is called my God, why have you forsaken me? Now, when I read this, now I'm going to read this at the end of it, and I want you just to not just listen, feel the abandonment. So just get that feeling that you've got at the moment being down in that cellar, all tied up, that feeling of just what hope is there, together with this psalm and him pointing to this psalm. Now, this psalm, as you may or may not know, was probably 700 to 1,000 years before Jesus was even born. So it was a prophecy, but at the time it wasn't a prophecy. Well, it was. King David was surrounded by enemies on all sides, and he had lost hope. There was no hope. He didn't have any hope. But he did 2 things. One, he lamented on how hopeless it was. But the other thing is, even in the midst of that, he taught us how to pray. Still praising God. Now, I find this so amazing because if you know any parts of the story, and you probably watched many movies, many programs, many documentaries on this moment with Jesus being on the cross. And there are certain things that happen while he's on the cross that they talk about. And when you go through this psalm, which is 700 to 1,000 years before it even happened, and at the moment, King David is just talking about his experience, his hopelessness. But there are so many similarities that you can't unsee it. So I want to read this psalm out to you. But while I am, I just want to remind you that God is that cop, that even though you are helpless, even though you're in a basement and you have no idea what's happening in the outside world, that he is searching for you. He is finding you. He is moving everybody. Like this cop is moving the whole police force to find you and get you and rescue you. That's what God is doing. And even in our death, we will be in heaven with him. So there is no way we can escape his freedom because he gives us a gift. So, all right, I want to read this psalm. I'm going to read it in its entirety. But as I said, please, just listen to it and see And just remember, this is 700 years before it actually happened. Okay. My God, my God. Oh, wrong one. Ah, sorry. Start again. My God, why have you forsaken me? Why are you so far from saving me, so far from my cries of anguish? My God, I cry out by day, but you do not answer, by night, but I find no rest. Yet you are enthroned as the Holy One. You are the one Israel praises. In you our ancestors put their trust. They trusted and you delivered them. To you they cried out and were saved. In you they trusted and were not put to shame. But I am a worm and not a man, scorned by everyone, despised by the people. All who see me mock me. They hurl insults, shaking their heads. He trusts in the Lord, they say. Let the Lord rescue him. Let him deliver him, since he delights in him. Yet you brought me out of the womb. You made me trust in you. Even at my mother's breast, from birth I cast on you. From my mother's womb, you have been my God. Do not be far from me, for trouble is near, and there is no one to help. Many bulls surround me, strong bulls of Bashan encircle me, roaring lions, they tear my prey. Roaring lions, they tear their prey, open their mouths wide against me. I am poured out like water, and all my bones are out of joint. My heart has turned to wax, it has melted within me. My mouth is dried like a potsherd, and my tongue sticks to the roof of my mouth. And you lay me in the dust of death. Dogs surround me, a pack of villains encircle me. They pierce my hands and my feet. All my bones are on display. People stare and gloat over me. They divide my clothes among them and cast lots for my garment. But you, Lord, do not be far from me. But you, Lord, do not be far from me. You are my strength. Come quickly to help me. Deliver me from the sword, my precious life from the power of the dogs. Rescue me from the mouth of the lions. Save me from the horns of the wild oxen. I will declare your name to my people. In the assembly I will praise you. You who fear the Lord, praise him. All you descendants of Jacob, honor him, revere him, all you descendants of Israel, for he has not despised or scorned the suffering of the afflicted one. He has not hidden his face from him, but has listened to his cry for help. For you comes the theme of my praise in the great assembly. Before those who fear you, I will fulfill my vows. The poor will eat and be satisfied. Those who seek the Lord will praise him. May your hearts live forever. All the ends of the earth will remember and turn to the Lord, and all the families of the nations will bow down before him, for the dominions belong to the Lord, and he rules over the nations. All the rich of the earth will feast and worship. All who go down to the dust will kneel before him, those who cannot keep themselves alive. Posterity will serve him. Future generations will be told about the Lord. They will proclaim his righteousness, declare to the people yet unborn, he has done it. What else is there to say? Go do something awesome for God. and I'll catch you in the next one.